And so just to follow that point, that would not necessarily bode well to your thinking for Tesla shareholders.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, 20 years from now, you really think that they're going to dominate the auto market? Not a chance.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be doing two things today. First of all, I'm going to be responding to some of the most colossally dumb comments I've ever heard uttered about Tesla, this time from a genius and armchair Einstein who just so happens to be a professor at the Columbia School of Business. And I'll contrast that with some breaking information and news about Tesla, proving exactly why this guy should have just stayed in his lane and shut the hell up about Tesla because he clearly had no idea what he was talking about. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to share an observation with you guys and girls. I tend to notice a recurring theme. Often, there are professors within the world of academia, professors of economics, professors of this and that, people who believe that they have an understanding of how the world works, how finance works, certain companies, etc. Sometimes a little bit too smart for their own good, sharing their opinions on things they have absolutely no idea about and repeatedly embarrassing themselves. There's a very classic example of this within Australia. I think a professor of economics, don't quote me on this, Steve Keen, claiming that the housing prices in Australia would crash. Totally dead wrong. Ended up having to hike up a gigantic mountain because he lost a bet because he had no idea what he was talking about. Then, of course, you've got the genius Harry Dent, who comes to Australia very regularly to sell his books and speaking seminars, also claiming that housing prices are going to collapse each and every time. Completely wrong. Why? Because both of these folks should have just stayed in their lanes. This is another of those examples. Now, I'm not here to crucify this guy just for its own sake, but to point out, sometimes people in positions of authority, people who have supposed credibility, a professor at Columbia Business School, can say things that are just completely detached from reality, causing people to make very poor decisions because people tend to pedestalize these folks. A professor, wow, Columbia Business School, wow, that's very credible, very reputable. I think I should believe every word out of this guy's mouth. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to make a slight observation. I notice a recurring theme with a lot of these geniuses, these people who are experts on the economy, professor of economics, genius in terms of finance, investing, capital management, business, take your pick. Very regularly, in fact, in almost every case, I notice that it's typically a man, usually in his 50s or more, who currently is somebody's bitch, aka he has a job because somehow, despite being so smart about all this stuff to do with money and the economy, he, and yes, occasionally she, but 99% of the time he, somehow failed to become financially independent at a young age and in fact has to work a job, be somebody else's bitch because for some reason, despite all this knowledge, all this expertise, they weren't able to actually apply that in the real world and make any money. Always something to think about. So with that said, let's get into the video. And by the way, since I know there's a lot of crypto lovers watching and people who like free stuff, it's your lucky day. For a limited time, you can get up to $250 in free crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. It also helps out the channel. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. Unless you don't like free stocks, that is. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Tesla will do a little better. I mean, there's an easy way to measure barriers to entry. So the first element is, what's the minimum market share you need to get to in order to be viable? Now, if a market is small, like the electric car market is today, you probably need to get to 20% of that market to be viable.
Now, I could be wrong here, but it sounds like Bruce is implying that the electric vehicle market isn't going to become 100% of the new vehicle market anytime soon, actually anytime ever. However, as we already know, Tesla has approximately a 20% share of the EV market today. Just imagine what happens if they maintain that. Let's see what else Bruce has to say on the matter.
In the mature automobile market that is global, you can be viable at 2%. Well, at 20% requirement, Tesla may be able to keep rivals out. But at 2%, nobody's going to keep anybody out. And guess where the electric car market is going? It's going from 700,000 a year to 7 million a year.
Well, unfortunately, Bruce hasn't actually given us a timeline here. Now, I don't even know if he's talking about the global electric vehicle market or maybe just North America, but in either case, just for the record, I personally have Tesla alone delivering around 7 million electric vehicles in 2025. And guys, I would love you to keep me accountable. Set a reminder to check back at the end of 2025. Let's see how I did with that prediction.
And so just to follow that point, that would not necessarily bode well to your thinking for Tesla shareholders.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, 20 years from now, you really think that they're going to dominate the auto market? Not a chance.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. A little bit of breaking news from Einstein himself. What are the chances that Tesla in 20 years' time will dominate the global automotive market? According to Bruce, not a chance. Well, Bruce, unfortunately for you, the internet never forgets. So see you in 2041, my friend.
And we know what a competitive auto market looks like because in that market, most of the big companies have flirted with bankruptcy at one time or another.
But just to follow quickly, Elon Musk will say, it's not just a car, Bruce Greenwald. It's an ecosystem with a computer connected to a database, connected to solar panels.
Yeah, go ahead. And you think other car makers don't have that?
He actually did just imply that other automakers currently produce solar panels, didn't he? He actually just... Bruce, what the fuck planet are you on, dude? Hook me up with some of that weed, man. Hook a brother up.
Elon Musk will say, it's not just a car, Bruce Greenwald. It's an ecosystem with a computer connected to a database, connected to solar panels.
Yeah, go ahead. And you think other car makers don't have that? They don't have computers. They don't have databases. They don't have solar panels.
Bruce, get the fuck out of the building. You do not belong here. You're not qualified to be speaking anymore. You're advertising your ignorance to an astonishing level. What? God. Now, again, this is nothing personal, but dude, if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, don't talk. I mean, it's that simple. Otherwise, you're going to get ridiculed and crucified by people that do. So, Bruce here is implying that other automakers make solar panels. What is he talking about there? They have the integrated ecosystem. What again is he talking about there? And also suggesting, well, other automakers have computers as well. Is this the point where I remind people about the VWs that ended up dead on production lines that had to be manually updated because VW couldn't figure out how to do software? Is this the point where I go, you know what, those over-the-air updates that Tesla's doing, improving range, performance, features, functionality over the air after customers have purchased the vehicle? How many other automakers are doing that, Bruce? Oh, that's right, none of them. Bruce, seriously, no disrespect, but you're an actual moron, at least in the domain of Tesla. Please stop talking about this company ever again. I hope this guy doesn't have children. Can you imagine that as your dad just appeared on TV and just crucifies himself, self-immolates on national television, speaking when he has no idea what he's talking about? Yeah, you guys may have noticed that I get triggered by idiocy, stupidity, and people talking out of their depth. It just does my head in. Now, there's nothing wrong with having absolutely no idea about a certain subject. In fact, I know nothing about almost everything. But I do take issue when somebody with some credibility, a professor of business, is spouting drivel and talking when they have no idea what they're talking about. That's a problem. Unless they pre-qualify and say, well, I don't actually know anything about the subject matter. I'm a total moron when it comes to Tesla, but here's my uninformed opinion. It's okay if you do that, or just shut the fuck up. But in this case, Bruce, Mr. Credible Professor, is spouting out absolute drivel about Tesla when he clearly has no idea. He hasn't pre-qualified by saying I have no idea. In fact, he's got this automatic credibility being the professor and on the finance media. Ooh, Bruce. Let's move on.
Right.
Give me a break. And if you're going to have charging stations, Apple always used to try this. When they tried iTunes, they tried it only working with Apple computers. And the iPod didn't work at all.
Wait, what the fuck? Hang on. I need to try and understand what Bruce just said there. So Apple, the world's most valuable company today, I might just point out. He's saying there previously that Apple initially only wanted the iTunes App Store or iTunes to be available on Mac products. Okay, so the analogy there would be Tesla would only allow their vehicles to charge on a Tesla charging network, but that's not true. So maybe, what else is he getting at? Or maybe he's going the reverse and saying, well, maybe Tesla should let everyone use their charging network because that's really core to their business. It's not, just for the record, but let's just assume that. Maybe Bruce is unaware that Elon Musk has publicly and repeatedly said multiple times, hey, if any other companies want to use our charging network, let's have a conversation. We're definitely open to doing it. And nobody's actually taken Tesla up on that offer. Can somebody please in the comments explain what the fuck Bruce was talking about there? I don't understand. That analogy is either really poor or I'm so dumb I can't understand what he was getting at there. Teslas can use the Tesla charging network and other charging networks. And Tesla has offered other companies, other vehicles to use the Tesla charging network, even though it's actually not a core part of their business. They're not bringing in huge profits or revenues from the supercharging network. It's basically a break-even service. This is not driving profits, unlike the iTunes store, which is a monstrous take. I think they take like 30%, maybe 20% of all the revenues here. Apple takes a huge slice. So this analogy is just brain dead, actually. Sorry, Bruce, but best way I can describe it. What are you talking about, mate?
Right.
So when you have charging stations, they're going to serve all the cars.
Right.
So no, Elon Musk is talking his book.
Speaking of talking, Bruce, you should definitely stop.
Yes.
But when it happens is a tough question. It will happen. But
well, does that go back to the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent?
I think so, especially in things like this.
Right.
I would not try and short Tesla. People have gotten slaughtered doing that.
And now, as promised, a few counterpoints to the torrent of drivel that came out of Bruce's mouth, implying that there's no chance Tesla would ever dominate the global automotive market. So let's head over to Twitter and check out this tweet from Tesla owners of Austin. And by the way, watch out for the mullet reveal again. Just wanted to shout out to my mate Matt and Anwar Beck. You guys are absolutely slaying it. Love these guys. See you again soon in Austin. Now let's head over to a tweet from these guys. Let's see what we can learn about this company that will never have a chance of dominating the global automotive market in 20 years' time. So let's figure out exactly what is happening here. The Idra Gigapress, the world's largest casting machine, custom built specifically for Tesla because they've innovated a new way of doing a gigantic casting rather than hundreds of different parts and processes, and in the process had to do cutting edge of material science and literally invent a new material never before seen on planet Earth just to do this, something that the entire automotive industry could have done any time in the last few decades, but didn't. Hint, hint, Tesla automotive industry dominance. Anyway, these gigantic cast pieces are currently being produced at a half-finished Austin factory, which, by the way, is going to be one of the world's largest ever buildings and is going up in record time. Shout out to the automotive industry that Tesla's never going to dominate. And it appears that they're already producing parts in this half-finished factory, and this is now part of Tesla's supply chain. These parts apparently seem to be being shipped back to Fremont to accelerate Tesla's vehicle production and drive their costs down further. One more time, one of the world's largest ever automotive factories, one of the world's largest ever buildings, going up in record time, is already producing things that no other auto manufacturer can actually produce because Tesla had to get a custom built machine and develop their own material, and it's now currently part of Tesla's supply chain. But of course, Tesla will never dominate the global automotive market, will they? Let's watch this magic in action. These are the gigantic cast pieces again. Half-finished factory. It's already pumping out actual materials, actual products, actual parts that are being shipped and used in Tesla's supply chain already. Any other automakers doing this, Einstein? Any you can think of? Oh, that's right. There are none. This is kind of important. You know what? I think I changed my mind. After watching that footage and seeing Tesla pumping out innovative products, new manufacturing techniques, saving hundreds of parts and processes, making them even more capital efficient out of a half-finished factory that's going to be one of the world's largest buildings that goes up in one of the fastest times ever of a building that size, I think Einstein may have been right. There's definitely no way, no chance Tesla will ever dominate the global automotive market. Is there? In fact, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are the chances, what are the odds that in 20 years' time, Tesla is a dominant player in the world's automotive market? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you'd like up to $250 in free crypto bonuses with BlockFi, use the link in the description. You can also get 2 free stocks with WeBull and a free stock with Stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.